Hey Vikings Nation, this is your host Vike Mike. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Week 2 matchup against the San Francisco 49'ers at US Bank Stadium against our very own Minnesota Vikings. But before we get into that, let's talk about the national media and the perspective that they've been giving off all week. And basically that is they still feel that this team is not a playoff caliber team. Even though we have improved on defense, even though our offensive line has improved, they still feel that Sam Darnold will be our Achilles heel. And I disagree on that. Watch the tape, look at his QBR, and I think this second week will really determine a lot of things, all things Sam Darnold. He doesn't have to fall on the sword in week 2. We've got a long season, but I do feel that this is a playoff caliber team. If you look at what they did last week, they played strong all 60 minutes. They were NFL ready all 60 minutes. We had all the answers for the most part. For week 1, they knocked the rust off. They looked the part. And I think that's to be encouraged. Now with Sam Darnold, as I was saying, he's going to have to continue to grow in that position. And he's going to have to understand his role in that position. And I think in a quarterback in the NFL, I think that's oftentimes missed. He is going to need to realize where he fits in. And some of the things that he can do better that he didn't do in week 1 is getting to the line quicker, getting the call out faster. I think play will continue to improve, and the game will continue to speed up every week. However, if he can get in the right checks and get into the right formations in the right time and hike the ball and find the spots he needs to find, I think he'll be just fine this year. I really do. He's just got to be able to understand his part in this game. He's playing against a very good defense in the San Francisco 49'ers, and I don't think we're asking him to do everything. We just need him to play that part and play it well. The Vikings offensive line, I mean, can you say enough about Blake Brandel? He was the highest PFF grade, not only on the offensive line, but the whole offense last week, coming in at over 91%. Or I'm sorry, 91 grade. I guess it is 91%. Doesn't matter. He played very well. They re-signed him in the offseason to a 3-year deal. He had really never taken a starting role from the get-go in the beginning of a season. And he's taken it on, and he's looked really well. Really, really well. I think good things are to come for that left guard side of Blake Brandel. Then let's look at the 2 tackles. You've got a pretty much Pro Bowl right tackle year in and year out. He's had some health issues in the past, but I think he's past that. I think he's going to be just fine. He is on the injury report this week, and he was limited today. He didn't show up on Wednesday, but I think on the injury report on Wednesday. But I think going forward, he's going to be fine. Left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, I think he's becoming an all-pro left tackle. I think when it's all said and done, he is definitely the anchor on that left side for many years to come. And we know Garrett Bradbury. We've re-signed Garrett Bradbury. He's in the last year of his contract that he signed a 2-year deal last year. We kind of know what Bradbury is. He's kind of undersized. He kind of gets overpowered from time to time. But what is missed is how football smart he is. He's always helping the quarterback kind of make set adjustments. He's always lining the offensive line up properly. You know, that's needed, and that's kind of a quiet thing that's not really spoke of when it comes to centers in the NFL. He's a very smart football player. I really believe the only Achilles heel we have is Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram didn't score so hot this week. And, you know, this is his 3rd year starting. And really over the last 3 years, he's kind of been inconsistent. He's played well some games, not well other games. You know, he stepped on Kirk Cousins' foot several times last year. However, I think they're giving him time. Of course, Dalton Risner is going to be coming off the short-term IR soon. I think if Ed Ingram does not clean up his right guard play, and let's be honest, he played against Dexter Lawrence last week, who is a phenomenal defensive nose tackle. So I think, long story short, it's too early to go ahead and yank him out. They need to see what they got in year 3 of Ed Ingram. Kind of, you know, he held the part last week. He bent, but he didn't break, you know. So that's okay. But Dalton Risner is more than capable of stepping in if need be around that whole interior line, left or right. But I think Blake Brandel is going to do phenomenal things on that left side of the ball. So I think what we need to be looking for is that right guard position. Are we going to be able to see Ed Ingram's growth? And is he going to take off, or are we going to have to maybe patch it in with Dalton Risner down the road when he comes back off of IR, the short-term IR. So we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. Aaron Jones. I will continue to say he is the X factor on this offense. I understand Justin Jefferson is the guy. He is by far the best player, not only on our team, but possibly in the NFL in his position set. He is a phenomenal offensive weapon. However, Aaron Jones brings a different element to our offense, something we missed last year, something that I think cost us games last year. So you can go back through that season last year. We went 7-10. With a better running game, you could probably flip at a minimum 2 of those games, and then we're back to a 500 9-8 ball club. So think about that. I think Aaron Jones going forward, he's already said this week he's going to start his 100-yard mark and continue on and on throughout the weeks, and I am ready for it. I am ready to see Aaron Jones put it on him. He is a phenomenal 3-down back. He is exactly what we need. We have Ty Chandler there to kind of play the complementary role and change of pace, and I like Ty Chandler. I think he's going to do great things in the NFL. So, and of course, when we play any team, especially last year, if you remember, we started 0-3. We turned the ball over a lot. So we have to we had 2 turnovers last week. We've got to take care of that football this week. Against a good team like the San Francisco 49'ers, we're going to have to take care of that football. And I think it can be done. If you look at the 49'ers defense when they played the Jets, who I think we're better than the Jets team, and hands down. I mean, the eye test is passed. We are a better team than the New York Jets. But that San Francisco 49ers defense was able to tear into Aaron Rodgers and that offensive line. That front 7 of the defense was phenomenal for the 49ers. They disrupted pass lane after pass lane after pass lane. And I don't think it's because of the Achilles with Aaron Rodgers, his Achilles tendon. I think it's, we saw the downfall the last year he was in Green Bay as far as his legs. He just wasn't running around as much. I think Sam Darnold's going to have to move around in that pocket, kind of climb that pocket from time to time, or show his athleticism left to right and kind of deviate from the pocket collapse. Now, like I said, the offensive line, they can do, they do great things, and we have a CJ Ham, and Aaron Jones is a 3-down back. So if we can keep that pocket clean for most of the day, I think Sam Darnold's going to continue to succeed. As far as the 49ers offense goes, this week 2 game, if you remember last year, we played the Philadelphia Eagles in week 2. Both of them were coming off Super Bowl losses. And, the Eagles last year ran for 259 yards on our defense last year. They are a run-heavy team, much like the 49ers. We have to stop that run. It is an absolute must to stop that run. And if you watch that game against the Jets, the only thing the Niners did was run inside zone and outside zone. So they lined up on their assignments, and they kept in the zone blocking the whole game. So that's something that B-Flow is going to have to break down this week. We have to break down their running game. Last year we gave up 259 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles and only lost that game by 6 points, and we had a few turnovers as well. So I think if we can shut down that run, this defense can be pretty dangerous. Let's put the game in Brock Purdy's hands. Let's get to him. Let's disrupt his passing lanes. Let's try to close him off. And, their offensive is explosive. They're going to score points. There's no doubt about it in my mind. However, we can monitor that back. Let's go into the injury report. Andrew Van Ginkel did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited participant today. He's still dealing with a foot injury. Jordan Addison has not practiced due to that ankle the last 2 practices, And then Jalen Naylor has been a full participant the last Wednesday and Thursday. Garrett Bradbury has continued to be limited participant with the knee injury. Harrison Smith showed up today on the injured reserve. It wasn't there on Wednesday, but was there today. He's dealing with a hip injury. He did not practice. I think he'll be suiting up on Sunday. I think this is precautionary. They're just, taking care of him. And then Brian O'Neill, again, just like Harrison Smith, didn't show up on the injury report on Wednesday, but showed up today on it. He's dealing with an elbow issue. When it comes down to it on Sunday, I think the only one that's in question is Jordan Addison at this point. I really do. And I think it's smart. Don't rush him in there. We've got other weapons. I'm excited to see those other weapons. I want to see Jalen Naylor and Brandon Powell and Tristan Jackson. I think those guys are all good football players. They definitely can't step and fill the shoes of Jordan Addison yet, or maybe at all for the majority of them. But we have the weapons. We have Justin Jefferson. He's got to get more involved, obviously, this week in this game as well. We need to have him go off for 8-9 catches, $150 and a touchdown or two. I think you're going to see that happen this week with Justin Jefferson. We're going to be throwing the ball a lot more. Something to really be excited about, too, is Flores' defense. If you look back at that game last week against the New York Giants, for a full 60 minutes, they played the whole game. They played hard-nosed football the whole 60 minutes last week. In the fourth quarter, the game was pretty much on ice. We were just kind of trying to run the clock down, give them the ball back. But, they drove it into, I know for at least one time into the red zone once, but they put 2 times they put the ball, down the field. And both times we were able to hold strong and knock them out. Most teams, especially teams that we've had in the past, they kind of put it on ice in the fourth quarter and we end up losing the game. So a credit to Brian Flores' defense, a credit to him bringing in his own guys like Andrew Van Ginkel, Stephon Gilmore, Bobby McCain. I think Jonathan Grenard's, if you look, he really disrupted those passing lanes last week. I think he had 5 quarterback pressures. So I really like what B-Flow's doing. I think Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace is really good in that linebacker room. The linebacker room's phenomenal. And the defensive line looked good. It really did. And I think, the secondary is going to continue to get better week in and week out. However, that's all I've got to say for tonight. This is Mike signing off.